Within that period, I had a relationship with your mother, Nkoli. She got pregnant and she gave birth to you both. Her parents chased her out of their house and she brought you both to me when you were just 10 days old. She abandoned the both of you and left. Since then, I had not set my eyes on her. Long time ago, in the village of Umunze, there lived a young man named Echezona. He was a single father to a set of twins, a boy and a girl. He was a successful businessman in the village market. Echezona was forced to leave school after impregnating a young woman called Nkoli. Nkoli carried the pregnancy to full term, and she gave birth to a set of twins, a boy and a girl. She was chased out of the house by her parents. She was left alone to take care of herself and her pregnancy. A good Samaritan accommodated her in her small hut. After the twins was born, Nkoli carried the twins to Echezona and she abandoned her children with him and ran away. Echezona had to drop out of school to take care of his twins. His parents were dead and he was the only child of his parents. He thought of how he was going to survive in his village with his twins. He then remembered he had a friend in Umunze. He had to leave his village to Umunze. He started a new life there. He lived in Umunze through the help of his friend Ndi. His friend Ndi introduced him to one of his uncle that sells generators in the main market. But Echezona insisted that he wants to start assisting the farmers to cultivate crops so that he will be able to make some money from it. And Echezona said to his friend, "At least it will give me enough time to take care of my twins, Melo and Mela." His friend Ndi agreed to his idea. Echezona continued to strive to make ends meet, and he never allowed his children to go hungry. He loved them so much. These twins were all that mattered to him. Whenever he goes to the farm, his friend's sister, Uju, helped to take care of his twins whenever he goes to the farm. When Echezona saw that his children were growing and in a safe hand, he woke up one morning to tell his friend Ndi that he was ready to join his uncle to learn the generator business. Ndi said, "Okay, don't worry, I will take you there." His friend Ndi took him to his uncle's shop the next day, and he had an agreement with his uncle, Mr. Obinna, that he was going to serve him for 3 years before he would settle him. Echezona accepted the offer. Echezona was a very hard-working man. Whenever he remembered he had children, he worked more harder, and he was so fast to learn the generator business in less than 2 years. That made his friend's uncle, Mr. Obinna, to be surprised and very impressed. One day, Mr. Obinna called Echezona. "Echezona," Mr. Obinna called. "Sir?" Echezona responded. "Sir, you called me." Echezona asked. "Yes, I called you." Mr. Obinna replied. "Sit down here. I want to have some discussion with you," Mr. Obinna said. "Okay, sir," Echezona replied. Mr. Obinna continued. "You know, our last discussion about the settlement agreement, it was written that you were going to serve me for 3 years before settlement." "Yes, sir," I can remember, Echezona replied. But for the past few months, I saw the efforts and hard work you have put to learn the business, and also you brought a great growth to my business. Today, I want to let you know that I am very, very impressed, and I will be presenting this shop to you and the generator inside. And also take this check, cash it out. This is your settlement. And if you think you need my support in any area, let me know. Congratulations, said Mr. Obinna. Echezona wouldn't contain his joy. He screamed. He knelt to thank Mr. Obinna. Oh, sir, thank you so much, sir. I never expected this so early. I am so grateful, sir. And I promised to make you proud. Mr. Obinna prayed for him for a successful business. Echezona started a new chapter of his life, knowing that he was going to give his children, Mela and Melo, the best life they deserved. He worked so hard. He later enrolled his children into a good school. He vowed that none of his children would ever drop out of school for any reason. He sheltered them and protected his children in every way possible. By this time, Melo and Mela was 12 years old. He had already built his business such that he became one of the wealthy men in Umunze, and he had lots of employers working for him. He was 28 years old at that time and matured enough to get married, but he had a problem. Echezona was very handsome and wealthy. He had a good character and a gentle spirit. As such, he easily attracted a lot of women to himself. He was concerned about it because he knew that it was time for him to settle down and get married. Not just get married, but he needed a woman, a wife that would love his children, Melo and Mela, as her own children. But the problem he had with the women that came around him, these women were interested with his wealth. They were not coming for true love. One day, he decided to date one of the women, called Nkiru, to see if she would love her children. But instead, she became bags of trouble to Echezona, and his twins hated her so much. Sometimes, when she cooks only for herself and Echezona. She would hide all the foodstuffs away from Melo and Mela. Melo and Mela would end up sleeping without eating food. This continued, and the children had to report her to their father. Echezona confronted her, but she lied and denied it all. One day, Echezona got tired of his girlfriend Nkiru's behavior towards his children. He called off the relationship between the both of them. Echezona sat down to think about himself, although he felt bad that he had to break up with Nkiru. But he thought to himself, I did it for my children. Those children had really suffered, and I don't want them to get into the hand of a wicked woman that would maltreat them. As a mother, he said to himself, I want my children to be loved. I want them to be happy. I want to see my children live in the house and play with the woman I called my wife. I want to leave my house every day knowing that my children are saved in the hand of a good woman that would call them children. Echezona felt bad. He really wanted a good woman that he would get married to and raise a happy family. He said to himself he wouldn't throw his children away because of a woman. Since he had no control over his situation, he decided to concentrate on his children and give them the best he could. He would pour all his love and attention to his children. Thankfully, he already had a successful business, and together they would make a happy and complete family. Melo and Mela grew up getting everything they desire, and they didn't feel the absence of having a mother. And he was already making good plans for his children's future. The bond between Melo and Mela and their father was so strong and visible that their schoolmates would always talk about it. Some mocked them that they were picked from the trash. That was why they don't have a mother. While some would say they don't have a mother, that was the reason why they were so much bonded with their father. The thoughts of that became so overwhelming for Melo and Mela, and they decided to ask their father, "Father, do we have a mother?" Echezona, their father, was shocked to hear the questions because this was the first time his twins would be asking him that. "Melo and Mela, why are you children asking me this kind of question? Did you had any problem with anyone, or did someone told you anything?" But Melo and Mela did not reply. They sat on the chair, lost in thoughts and expectations of their father's response. Echezona felt uncomfortable. He knew his twins are growing, that one day they would come up with this kind of questions, but not as quick as this. He then thought, since they already brought the questions up, then why not? I would tell them, "My children, you have a mother. I was living with my father's brother in the village when my parents died. Within that period, I had a relationship with your mother, Nkoli. She got pregnant and she gave birth to you both. Her parents chased her out of their house and she brought you both to me when you were just 10 days old. She abandoned the both of you and left. Since then, I had not set my eyes on her. I searched everywhere and her parents' house, but she wasn't there. It now dwelled on me that I had to take care of you too, all by myself. I had no parents or anyone to help me. I barely eat 2 meals a day, so I had to drop out of school to take fully responsibility as a father and mother to you both. I had to relocate to Umonze village where I had a very good friend named Ndi, and her younger sister had to help stay with you children until I finished my farm work. They paid me some money from the farm work, and Ndi, my friend, also introduced me to one of his uncle, Mr. Obinna, who taught me the generator business. That was the business that made me successful today. Look, Melo and Mela, my children, it doesn't matter if you have a mother or not. We have been happy together. I am your father and your mother. You children are my top priority. Now, Don't let whatever anyone tell you get to you. I will make sure you both don't lack love nor attention, Echezona explained to Melo and Mela, his children. Melo and Mela was moved with compassion for their father. They went and hugged him. They promised to always make him happy and not let him feel the absence of not having a wife. The father and children relationship was so strong that they hardly separate from each other. One day, they attended one occasion of Echezona's friend. Echezona was attracted by the married couple sitting right on the front seat row. He admired how the married couples was talking, laughing and relating with each other. Even their laughs and jokes got the attention of those around them. Echezona was in deep thought and loads of imagination flooded his mind. When growing up, he desired to have a beautiful wife and a family. His children saw how carried away he was, gazing and smiling at the couple. Melo and Mela touched him, and he asked, "Father, why were you looking and smiling?" He turned and looked into Melo's eyes. "My son, you know, I wished your mother was patient enough to stay with me. The married couple made me to remember my youthful age. I dreamt and wished to get married to a beautiful wife and raise a beautiful, happy family together." He explained to his son Melo and Mela. Mela said, "Father, don't worry, we are here for you." He smiled and hugged his children, and he told them that, unfortunately, the dream of getting married had completely wiped away. Right now, I had to concentrate to take good care of you too. And his children looked at him with pity, and Melo said, "Father, but I still believe you can still get married. You don't have to lose hope completely. You can still come across a good woman tomorrow who will accept you for the true man you are, and also accept us as her children. And I and my sister Mela will organize your wedding for you." Melo told his father, and they all laughed. However, deep down in Echezona's mind, something has stirred up. I can still get married and have a wife and a mother for my children. 2 years later, Melo and Mela gained admission into the university. The day they were about to leave for the university, Melo and Mela had mixed feelings because it was the first time they are leaving their father. It was a very sad moment for them. It was also hard for Echezona, who had literally lived all his life around his children. He found his life and house completely empty, and it seems as if he had lost someone important in his life. He couldn't bear staying alone without seeing his children. Few weeks after his children, Melo and Mela, left for uni, he called his driver to take him to Melo and Mela's school, where he rented a private accommodation off campus for his twins to be comfortable. And so, that Sunday morning, Mela was in the living room reading when she heard a knock at the door. She was wondering, who could that be? She called Melo. "Melo, are you expecting anyone?" "No," Melo replied. She got up to check who was knocking, and surprisingly, she saw her father standing at the door with a big smile on his face. Mela had missed his father so much. She screamed at the top of her voice. She jumped on her father and said, "I missed you, father." Her father hugged her so tightly. Mela called Melo. "Melo, it's father." Melo ran to the door. He hugged his father, feeling great, joy and excitement. "But father, what happened? It's not long we left for school," his children asked. Echezona laughed. He said, "My children, the house has been so empty without the two of you." My head almost exploded thinking, and I was also worried, so I had to come over to check on my children. Melo and Mela said, "Father, are you sure you are sleeping and eating at all? It seems you had lost a lot of weight." Echezona told his children not to bother themselves, that seeing them had made him feel much better. Echezona spent few days with his children and left for Umunze. However, he continued to visit them more often. Melo and Mela soon finished school and got a job, a well-paying job in the city. They lived there and would visit their father in Umunze regularly. Echezona's business was flourishing even better than before. He would always go to visit Melo and Mela in the city. Their bond was still intact. They never had a problem. Melo and Mela told their father that they were going to get married. Echezona looked surprised. He had to drop his wine glass on the table. He asked, "What did you say?" His two children looked at each other, amazed. So Melo repeated what he said. "You mean the both of you want to get married at the same time?" Echezona asked. They both replied, "Yes, father." "But why? Why will the both of you get married at the same time? Can't you do it one at a time?" He said, "Father, you know, I can't stay all by myself without Melo by my side," Mela told his father. This time, Echezona realized that it was actually a reality, that one day his children will finally get married. However, Echezona wants the best for his children. He doesn't want to prevent them just because he was going to miss them. This thing they called time doesn't wait for anybody. So my little twins are now up to the age of getting married. Olisa, thank you. Thank you for this day. Echezona thank God. Well, my children, you both had done well. This was a very good decision. For how long have you had relationship with your fiancé and fiancée? Echezona asked. Melo replied him, "Almost 3 years now." And Mela replied him, "We had dated for almost a year now." Wow! Echezona was surprised. That was a very long time. You children can sell someone, no? Why did you both manage to keep it away from me? I thought we did not keep secrets from each other. Melo and Mela looked at each other and smiled. Father, it was meant to be surprised. It wasn't our intention to hide it from you. We had told them a lot about you, and they are eager to meet you. Echezona said, "Okay, I would be happy to meet with them as well. I would love whosoever that loves my children, as long as they love you genuinely." Melo and Mela was pleased and thanked their father. Echezona got up and said, "This calls for celebration." He brought a bottle of red wine and 3 wine glasses. They drank and merry. Melo told his fiancée that his father would love to see her, but she was nervous, wondering how she would face or interact with his father. Melo calmed her down. Listen, baby, you don't need to be scared. My father is an easygoing person. You will love him when you see him, Melo said to his fiancée Megan. And Mela, at the other hand, had to tell his fiancé as well. So they both planned and fixed the date to correspond with each other's free time. They finally met with Melo and Mela's father, and they were surprised to see how loving and kind-hearted he was. He chatted with them and even took them round his house. They later settled in the compound where Echezona roasted some beef and chicken and some yam as well for them to eat. And Melo's fiancé said to Melo, "Your father is such an amazing father. I thought he was going to be very strict." Melo said to Megan, his fiancée, "I told you to relax. Can you see now? So tell me, when are you planning to fix the marriage date?" Echezona asked. "Don't worry, father. I will let you know when the time comes," Melo replied. So after spending much time together, they all left for the city. Echezona was so proud of his children for taking such a decision to settle down. He called and visited them from time to time, and he never missed to ask after Megan and Kelly, Mela's fiancé. Echezona became so much attached to Megan and Kelly. He often called them to seek advice when he thinks he needs one, without his children knowing. Few months later, the marriage date was fixed and they began planning for their wedding. Megan and Mela planned to wear the same type of wedding gown, while Melo and Kelly bought same type of suits and pairs of shoes. Mela suggested to Melo, "Melo, I have been thinking about the style of clothes we would buy for father. Don't you think it would be nice he wears the same type of suit and shoes as you and Kelly?" Melo looked at her sister, wondering where she got that thought from. He later said that wasn't a bad idea, but they never told their father, Echezona, their plan, because Echezona would never buy the idea. He would prefer to dress on native attire rather than wearing a suit. So Melo and Mela agreed to buy suits and the same type of shoes for their father. They still bought him native attire just in case he insists. Melo and Kelly went together to sort out for their wedding wears, while Mela and Megan, Melo's fiancé, went in search of the best bridal shop. Someone referred them to a very popular big bridal shop. They both traced the shop out. They were in the bridal shop looking out for the best wedding gown. Mela saw one she loves as she and Megan was about to go fit it on. Mela's phone rang, although Mela ignored it because it was unknown number, so she thought it wasn't important. The call kept coming. So Melo and Kelly on their way to sort out for their wedding wears. Melo's phone rang 3 times. He finally picked the call, but heard unknown voice. The person introduced himself as his father's friend, Ndi. Immediately Melo heard father. He had to drop all he was doing and listen very carefully. "Please, You have to leave whatever you are doing and come back to the village. Your father is critically ill. We had to rush him to the hospital. Ndi hung up. Melo quickly rang Mela. This time around, Mela did not ignore the call. Melo told her about their father's health condition. They had to abandon all their doing and traveled to the village of Omonze. At this time, it was 1 month to the wedding. When they finally arrived in the village, they saw their father lying down, critically sick. They became so scared and worried because they had never seen their father in such condition before. Do you think their father Echezona would ever survive this? And do you also think the wedding would ever hold? Find out in part 2.